country's taxes, and if you work less or you don't work at all, then you're not participating. I personally, I chose to get out of the workforce. I chose not to participate. I retired.
Chose not to participate. The real question is why? But I'm about to say this. In this video you're about to watch, the title of it is I'm 40, unemployed, isolated and alone. If you're in this situation or you're heading towards 40s or in the 30s, you might want to watch this.
We're in the middle of a 17-year cicada hatch. Every 17 years, millions of these little bugs, these larvae, they crawl out of the ground and they morph into a giant flying insect. And they are extremely annoying. As a matter of fact, I had to wait until the evening to film this video because they're so loud during the day. If I was to film it during the day, you wouldn't be able to hear a word I'm saying. It's no joke. You can probably still hear them in the background a little bit if you listen close enough, because they're still screeching back there a little bit. But it's all because of these little guys right here. These little locust looking things. And yes, my fingernails are dirty. Don't judge, I'm a hard-working man. But these little guys right here, and they got me thinking about something. These things live 17 years underground. They morph into these flying bugs. All right, so they spend their entire lives underground in like the worst scenario, basically. And then they get wings, they can fly around, and they can basically go anywhere they want in the world after 17 years, and they only live a few weeks after they morph into this flying bug. After all that time. And, you know, it kind of reminded me of our lives. We grow, we sprout our wings, and the sky's the limit. If we can dream it up, we can make it happen. But the problem with that is that a lot of us don't do that. And I think about that, and I think about these little guys here and the first people that would have been here long before us, what they must have thought when these things hatched out for the first time after being alive 17 years, and they're screaming throughout the day, just deafeningly loud, what they must have thought. Because it basically sounds like banshees. It sounds like screaming banshees. And I can only imagine that they thought the world was coming to an end. Like it's basically apocalypse. When these locusts and these cicadas hatch out, that's biblical stuff. They're taking over. You hear the screeching in the background. It was probably terrifying. Maybe it wasn't. I mean, I'm just guessing, but I would think it probably would kind of freak you out a little bit if it's the first time you're hearing that stuff. And there's nobody around to tell you what's going on. So you kind of have to figure it out on your own. And that made me think about like a lot of the things that we believe that aren't true. And I would say one of the biggest things that we believe that isn't true is the fact that we have to work our entire freaking lives and basically work the best years of our lives away chasing money, something that really even shouldn't even have value if you really think about it. Like, why are we after gold? Why does gold have value? And you could say, oh, it's because, you know, we use it for industrial stuff, electronics, jewelry, all this stuff, but that's not really the reason why. The reason why it has value is because somebody somewhere said it has value because of these properties, or because it can be used for jewelry, or because it's rare. But somebody said it has value, therefore it has value. And in short, gold and money has value because it's just the way things are. It's the way society is set up. And these are the things that we tell ourselves. It's just the way things are. We have to work our entire lives chasing money until we're old enough to retire, until we're 65, because it's just the way things are. We have to pay taxes our entire lives and fork out what is probably half or more of our income, so that the people at the top can get rich off of us, because they're basically using us as a means to make the top 1% or the top 0.1% even more wealthy, because that's just the way things are. But it doesn't have to be the way things are. And you know, the thing about it is, the only reason we have to pay taxes and we have to get money and we have to do all these things is because we've been programmed to believe that. And that just goes to show you how well the programming has worked. The propaganda, the indoctrination, all this stuff has worked extremely well, and we all believe it's just the way things are. So we stay stuck in this rat race our entire lives, working our lives, again, the best years of our lives away, while we're in our prime so that we can someday retire at the ripe old age of 65, so that we can get out and do all the things that we've been putting off our entire freaking lives. But just like these cicadas that hatch out every 17 years, live a couple weeks and die, that should not be the lives that we are destined to live. Because I'm a firm believer that each and every one of us, we're here for a purpose. But I believe that the purpose we're put here for is much greater than we give ourselves credit for. I think that if there's something that we can dream up, it doesn't matter how big it is, we can achieve it. But it takes being able to go after it. It takes having the time and the capacity and the bandwidth to do that. But when you're stuck working a 9 to 5, and you're stuck in the daily grind, and you're stuck chasing all these things that we believe are going to make us happy and that's going to fulfill us and that we believe we need to have, it takes us away from being able to pursue that dream. And that's a terrible thing, because if you think about our tiny, small fragment of an existence on this planet, we shouldn't squander that. We should make the most out of that we possibly can. We should get out of life everything that we can and live to our fullest potential. We should strive to find out what our purpose is, and we should go after it. We should not let these superficial things and these things that we've been programmed to believe hold us back. Because if we do, we're living just like these cicadas. We're living...
That sounds all good and well, but they've purposely tied it, because in order for you to do, I was going to say certain things, but in order for you to do a lot of things, you need money. In order for you to get money, you need a job. Do you understand? So even a lot of businesses, even though some people do say you don't need money to start a business, yes, that's true, but a lot of businesses, you do need some level of capital to start it. We're blessed enough to live in a day and age where you truly don't need money, because social media is free. Yeah, but how are you going to have an iPhone to use the social media on? If you don't have a phone, how will you have the social media? So you need money to buy a phone, to have a phone, to have the social media. You see what I mean? So yes, we live in a day and age where everything's blessed, but if you're genuinely starting from zero, it could be very tough. Let's be real with ourselves. Let's be honest. You might need a 9 to 5 job, but the difference is you're using your 9 to 5 job as leverage, as a step, so that you can have a better future, a better tomorrow. That's why I don't like people who waste their money from the 9 to 5, because you're using the most important force you have available to you to help get you out of that situation. But let's carry on anyways.
Most
I'll give
of
my
our
take at the
lives,
end.
underground, suppressed. We're being held beneath the people at the top. We're being held beneath ourselves for most of our life. And then all of a sudden at 65, we suddenly grow and sprout our wings. We become free and we fly around. And we enjoy this existence of what it should be like. We enjoy it for this very small fraction of time, this very small piece of our lives, and then we're gone. But the most important thing that we can do for ourselves is break away from that. And the only way to break away from that is to stop participating. If we don't want to pay taxes, or we want to pay less in taxes, there's only a couple options. It's either move to a country that has less taxation, or don't work as much and don't make as much money. Or don't work at all. Don't buy as much stuff. That's less stuff that you're getting taxed on. These are the only options we have, and in both cases, it basically means not participating. Because if you leave the country, you're not participating in this country. Therefore, you're not paying this country's taxes. And if you work less or you don't work at all, then you're not participating. I chose to get out of the workforce. I chose not to participate. I retired myself out at 39 because it got to the point where I just started seeing these things. I started seeing things for what they are. All these things I'm talking about here, I started realizing that. I started realizing that I was going to work my entire life away. And if I made it to the age of retirement, I was going to get out and I wasn't going to be able to do any of the things that I had dreamed of doing. And one day, the pain of realizing this and continuing to work my life away was much worse than the pain that I would have experienced if I got out and I was dead broke and I had to struggle to make ends meet. And I knew at that moment, when that pain of continuing to do that thing, continuing to be trapped and stuck in the system, when it was worse than the alternative, then it was time for me to get out. And that's exactly what I did. It was a tough decision. I mean, I worked 20 years in that career, and I loved my job. I loved the people I worked with. I loved everything about it. but I did not love the fact that I was working my life away. And even though I loved the job, it still was taking me away from the things that I believed were more important. Because I believe that myself, just like everyone else in this world, is meant for greater, is meant for some greater purpose. And I wanted to be able to find out what that is and realize that purpose and make it happen. It was scary, and it's still scary. And I'm sure it's the same type of fear that these cicadas experience when they emerge from the ground and they sprout their wings and they're now exposed to all these new predators and this giant world's around them, and they're probably completely clueless and lost and don't know which direction to go. And that's exactly what I experience. But that's life. I mean, that's life in general. Most of us are just flapping our wings, going where we think we need to go, just winging it, just trying to do the best with what we have.
No pun intended.
But you know what? We're not born with an instruction manual. And if we're doing our best and we believe we're doing what's right, that's good enough. And that's all any of us can actually ask for. And what this really all boils down to is just not letting anything restrain us. If there's people in our lives that are holding us down, toxic people or people that just drag you down and don't allow you to reach your full potential, those people don't deserve you. They don't deserve to be in your life. And by cutting them out, it's going to remove a ton of stress from your life and is going to free up the mental capacity that you need, and probably the free time that you need to go out and find the people that you actually resonate with, that resonate with you. And it's also going to give you the space that you need to do things for yourself, because that's another problem, is a lot of us, we live for other people. We don't focus enough on ourselves because we're told that we're being selfish when we do that. But it pays to be selfish. As long as you're being selfish for the right reasons and you're putting yourself first so that you can improve yourself, that means that you're going to become a better person. Therefore, what you put out into the world is going to make the world a better place, and you're going to show up better, not only for yourself, but for the people around you. So by being selfish and putting ourselves first, it's not a bad thing. And it's something that we should focus on doing much more often than we do. We should 100% dedicate time to ourselves. That way we can understand and realize what is actually important to us. And I think when we do that, most of us are going to find that it's not working your entire life away. It's not chasing money. It's not all these things that we're led to believe we need. Most of us are going to find what's actually important is our time, is our peace, is us being able to live life on our terms and go after the things in life that we want. It's getting to the end of your life and not having any regrets, not looking back and wondering what if. It's the people we surround ourselves with. It's the legacy we leave behind. These are the things that are important. And don't get me wrong, I realize that jobs and working is important. You have to have jobs, you have to have workers, you have to have money, and all this stuff for a functioning society like we have. I get it. And not everybody can just ditch their job and not work. I know that we all have responsibilities. We have families to take care of. We have bills to pay. That's just the way things are, right? It's just the way things are. There's another one of the things that we've been led to believe, but it is true in a lot of cases. But for most people, maybe it's not about getting out completely and not working, because I know that's not plausible for a lot of people. Maybe it's just about needing less, because the less things you need, the less you have to work. I was watching a YouTube video last night.
Fair play.
This dude was living out in the middle of the woods on like 30-some acres. It was all paid for. He was off the grid. He didn't have to pay for sewage, electric. I think he was paying for like a landline phone.
CNBC.
And that's it. And he was buying food and stuff like that. I think he had a dog. He was buying dog food as well. And he said his monthly living expenses was $140. So think about that. And again, I know not everybody can do that. We can't all live that extreme. We can't go off grid and, live on $140 a month. But it just should show you what is actually possible. Because when we bury ourselves in debt and we have cars and cell phones and internet services and streaming services and a $300,000 or $400,000 house, and we buy designer clothes and we surround ourselves with all this superficial materialistic stuff, and we buy into this consumerism mindset, we're trapped. And that's exactly what they want, because the programming has worked. This is how they keep us trapped. This is how they keep us underground until the 17 years is up and we're able to surface and spread our wings for a couple weeks until the end arrives. It's just the way things are. But just remember that it does not have to be. Think outside the box. Think about ways that you can save money and get the most out of your life. Because all of us deserve that. Don't buy into this programming that leads you to believe that you have to be trapped and that you're never going to realize your dreams. You're never going to see them come true because you have to stay stuck in this system. Don't be a victim of it. Don't believe the lies that we're fed. We're fed so many lies. Lies about so many things. I mean, way more things than I'm going to get into in this video. But when it comes to our daily lives, we've been lied to about every freaking thing. I mean, it's pathetic.
Everything, head to toe.
But in our modern world, it's just the way things are. And I'm going to keep coming back to that because it is just the way things are. But again, it does not have to be. We all need to break free from this system. We need to realize our true potential. We need to figure out what's important to us, and we need to go after it. I deserve it. You deserve it.
You deserve it.
Everyone.
We all deserve it. Look, everything that he just said there near the end there, he's completely right. It's time for you to break free and realize no one is coming to save you, my friend. You are in this by yourself. It's a whole ginormous worldwide competition, and only the strongest will survive. In fact, often I say only the malleable will survive. So how bendable are you? You know? Like how flexible are you in regards to change and adapting? Because if you're not, I'm telling you, you're going to be left behind. The world is changing at a supersonic speed. Rapid AI, before you know it, then there's next gen this, then there's quantum computing. Then I'm telling you right now, if you don't get with the memo or get with the flow, you're going to be left behind. Right now is the best time for you to learn a skill or start a skill, because that skill could save you. Ideally, try and look into tech or whatever it is. But if you do want to retire early, there's certain things that you're going to have to put in place. Certain years you're going to have to decide and sacrifice in order for you to have a better tomorrow. Or what if you die? Okay, well, what if you don't? Change your mindset. Become a bit more optimistic. What if you die? What if you don't? And you live till 60, 70, 80, 100 and something. Those people who've lived 102, 105 or 110 years old, you think they planned on doing that? Or do you think it just happened? Oh, I might die. I'm getting a bit old. 80 something. Nope, still not dead yet. 90 something. Still not dead yet. 100. What the heck is going on? Still not dead yet. 105. Still not dead yet. If you didn't sort yourself out, you believe, you telling me right now, you're looking at me right now, believing the government will take care of you. Oh, if you believe that, then I don't know how gullible you are, but yeah. Retired last year at 44, best decision ever. I have rented properties that pay my monthly bills. I don't spend money. I'm so glad to get out from the consume, obeyed, construction and freedom. 100%. It's possible. I mean, we just read it in the comment section right here. Okay? Organic Rebecca. That's it. So we've just read it here. Scuba. Let's see. I dated a young girl about 7 years ago. I was 38. She was 29. After seeing what she thought about relationship in general, it taught me that women will hustle being single and living. Since I'm not lonely, I'm happy isolated. My days, guys. The world has shifted. Just like I was telling you, you're going to be left behind. Even the dating scene and the dating market has completely shifted. The way people think is completely, it's not about what can we build together. It's about what can you do for me from the women's aspect a lot. Okay, I want a provider. I want chivalry. I want a guy who can take care of me. I want a guy to be able to pay my bills. He needs to be charming, handsome, tall, 6 foot, 6 figures, 6-pack. Okay, cool. How about the expectation from the guy's point of view? I want a girl who's in shape. Oh, you're body shaming. Stop it. You're a body shamer. Double standard. If you get what I mean, let me know in the comment section down below. But I am not really a guy who beats around the bush, but that's just the genuine truth that's going on in today's society. So if you as a man, young man, or in your mid-40s, 50s, whatever it is, if you don't decide, I need to level myself up, I need to establish myself, I need to be able to take care of myself first. Almost being selfish. Yes, I'm telling you to be selfish, because in order for you to be able to pull someone up from a cliff, you need to be strong enough first. And if you're not strong enough, you're going to get decimated. So if you're not strong enough to pull someone from a cliff, then don't even attempt, because you're both dying. It's the most silliest thing you could do. So I'm here telling you, yes, take care of yourself. Establish your mindset, shift your mindset, financial freedom. Try and work towards all of that, financial literacy. Get yourself strong physically, mentally, and you trust me, you're going to be able to, you know, look after somebody, because it's gruesome out there. Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this, my mama said. I don't even want to talk too much, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, because this was a really good video. Let me know, like the video, share it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I said guys twice, but I meant that. All right, peace.